Hey,
We're back.
We're back. We're back. We're back.
I'm Cherish.
And I'm Joy.
And we're
Tusicles Musicals.
Oh my goodness.
And we're back with Paradise Square, our first new musical of the year.
What happened now?
It's our first new musical of the year.
No, well.
What new we saw?
You're right. What we see? We didn't see a lot, I guess, for it to be March. We saw 6. We saw Company.
But a new musical.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just trying to go through my head what we saw. We saw 6. We saw Company. That was it.
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Yeah, we've been to 54 Below.
Yeah, I think that's it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we saw Paradise Square, which is a new musical. Oh, I feel like I have to do a synopsis now because it's a new musical.
Oh, we didn't do one for the music.
I mean, everyone knows what it's
Do
about.
they know what it's about?
You're right. I assume. But, sorry, guys.
Tisk. Usually you gotta say, Joy, you want to give a synopsis? Otherwise, Joy's not going to think about it. Okay. Yeah. Joy, you want to give a synopsis?
Yeah, sure. So, Paradise Square is a nice little historical musical about real people. Not real themselves, but, like, these are people. Anyway, there's a real place. There was a place down in Lower Manhattan called Paradise Square in 5 Points, which is where free black people and Irish immigrants lived harmoniously in the Lower East Side until, of course, we can't have nothing nice.
So it's like 1860 something. So it's Civil War time. Nellie, played by Jakina Kalukango, she even says at the end of the story, it's like it was a point in time where like people
saw how it
lived in the future and
saw how it could be.
Yeah. But it still hasn't been recognized.
Yes. So Nellie owns a saloon in Lower East Side. She's married to an Irishman, and her sister-in-law is an Irish woman, and she's married to a black man.
Yes.
And they all live, and work at the saloon.
Nellie runs and owns and operates a saloon.
And what is her name? What is Shalina's name in the show?
Oh, dang.
Annie. Annie's played by Shalina Kennedy we saw her in Beautiful. She's accepting of her nephew who just came from Ireland to Americas, and she's helping him settle in. And meanwhile, they also are a stop for the Underground Railroad.
No, not a stop for the Underground Railroad.
The Reverend sure enough helped a lot.
Right, he did, but I wouldn't call him a stop.
Oh, okay. They were a transfer point.
Yes. So Annie, like Joy said, is married to a black Reverend who helps. If they make it up there, he'll help them on their way to Canada, basically.
And they get a man from Tennessee named Joa.
Right.
And they let him. He decides not to go on to Canada because he's waiting for his girl, who they got separated with back in Tennessee somewhere. And so they were like, okay, fine, you stay, just hide in plain sight. Your name isn't Joe anymore. You're Washington Henry. And basically, Civil War, a draft happens for the Irish immigrants and they don't like it. And
not just the Irish immigrants, all immigrants.
But the Irish immigrants, they're definitely like, that's not.
Well, technically, okay, so this is what they said. They said the draft was for anyone between the ages of like 18 and 45. Immigrants included, but you could get out of this if you had $300 basically, which most immigrants didn't, and they know this. So they know the people who the draft are going to affect are going to be like the poor immigrants. The black people, they're like, can we fight? Because, right, it's their country. They want to fight. They want to help liberate their enslaved brothers and sisters. And America was like, no. Like, we're not giving you weapons. So chill. Like, let's not do that. At which point, some of the Irish people feel like they shouldn't have to risk their lives, die. There's a man who's a good friend of the family of the saloon who lost his arm, and he's like, he's a little upset because he can't get work, and the reverend took his job, and he's like, well, I lost an arm. I lost my job now. This is not fair. Ends up being this like kind of like race war, more or less, between the Irish immigrants and the free blacks, which, as you can imagine, causes
risk
between this family, this of black and Irish like family and whatnot.
Yeah, so they have this a face, which basically is a dance contest,
a dance off between Annie's nephew and the new the runaway Joa, newly named Washington Henry.
Not to tell you the story,
right? There was a lot story wise.
Yes.
We feel like
it was a very long show.
Yeah, it was pretty long. So we did see it in previews.
Yes,
it's in one of the earlier previews too.
Yeah,
like it had just
the first week in previews. It's so apparently it had changed a little bit before we even got there, and the show before us, the sets wasn't working, so we rushed the show at almost like 4:45. We went after we saw the Music Man, just to see if we could still get tickets. The guy, I don't know if they were rush tickets, but he was like, I got these seats for you. They're $32. It's row J. It's far left.
It's at the Barrymore, so it's where like the Waitress Revival was at.
So it's a small theater.
It's a small house. We didn't miss much of anything.
I wouldn't call it partial view because we couldn't see what was on the left at the top. Is like the
overhang of the box.
Yeah, because the set is like
New York City style,
like tenement kind of Newsies.
Yes, the set was giving us Newsies very much.
Yeah, like 3 tiers. So anything happening up there, which wasn't anything, maybe there was just people propped up there throughout the show. We couldn't see, which is fine. But yeah, we saw everything. We didn't miss anything. The cast was great. We loved Jakina. We've been a fan of Jakina since
we saw
the Color Purple revival. She has a great voice.
She's a great actress.
She's a great actress too. We might have seen her in Lovecraft Country. She's always playing a ghost or someone, or a slave, or close to a slave, or one on.
Right. And then we also saw her in Slave Play, which, as you know, we didn't really enjoy Slave Play, but not any slight to her
itself,
not her as an individual.
The performances in Slave Play was fine. It was the show itself,
the material
that we didn't like. But anyway, we really enjoyed her. Great singer. All the songs that she sung basically was just like
everybody stand up and clap. Literally, she got like 2 standing ovations during the duration of the show.
Yeah.
I will say it's true. She's great. She didn't have much to do.
No.
She really didn't have much to do. She kind of, even though it's like her,
she just introduces what's happening.
She fights with like this like guy who's like trying to catch her breaking the law, and she'll sing every once in a while, blow our heads off when she sings, and then she kind of goes back. But basically, we spent a lot of time like shuffling around
the characters,
like the different characters. Some I feel like could have almost to the point where like the passage of time was a little bit crazy. Like I wasn't sure like how much time had passed, or even sometimes like where people were. So for instance, Angelina, which was Washington Henry's like girl who he like ran away with, they got separated, and she's with these like 2 women, which seems really interesting, but we don't really know much about that. And I'm like, okay, where were the women? Were they in Tennessee? Were they in New York? Were they in New Jersey? Were they in Maryland? Like, like we don't know where they were. When did she get to New York? Like, is this kind of
like maybe they had a bigger part out of town, and maybe they had to cut it somehow.
Maybe, yeah.
But we don't really understand because we don't really get Angelina's side of things because it's told by Washington, and we just kind of see her going through it.
Right. She sings one song where she kind of explains that she was helped out by these 2 women, and she felt safe for a short period of time or whatever. But that's about it.
Yeah. The cast is all pretty good. I would say the guy who played Washington Henry, though, for him to be a Tennessee slave, and we have family in Tennessee, so we could talk. Can't understand a word Tennesseans say, like what? But he sounded so not Tennessee, like not Southern at all.
Right.
To him to be a Tennessee slave.
The accent, like, I feel like he came on and he had more of an accent, and then it just kind of like disappeared.
I feel like he needed to sound a bit like what, you know,
right,
a little more Southern, but he didn't. Shalina screams the whole damn show.
So prior to, because we knew we wanted to rush the show like over the weekend, we were kind of like looking to see like what we could see about Paradise Square, and there's some nice things on YouTube about it, like some like practice footage and whatnot. And then also there's like a little bit on the internet, like in forums and things like that. And someone had mentioned something about like Shalina Kennedy having to like, you know, screaming all her lines, and like literally it's the first thing out of her mouth, she is screaming. And she does speak like
very fiery.
Her volume is a bit broken in the show. I didn't find it. It didn't bother me though, because some people are like that. Some people are just loud and don't have any volume control, and it makes sense of someone of that time and era, and from a woman and where she's from, like
to always feel like she has to scream.
Yeah,
but it kind of made a contrast because her husband's like a reverend, and he's very like soft spoken, very calm, cool, collected guy.
I don't know. It didn't bother me. Yeah, but I was like, well, she is screaming though. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. So. The music was. You're not gonna leave the show like being able
to like sing a song,
like not like you walking out of waitress. I need a bad idea, you know. Like you're not gonna do that. You know, you're not gonna walk out of like you do Chicago, like me and my baby. Like you're not doing that. What they do have like a melody that plays throughout the show that's very catchy. Like so yeah. It's like you'll hear that throughout, and that's very catchy. The funny thing is because we came in to get the rush tickets, and
we were so confused because we thought the show was over.
Yeah, we thought the show was over because the Music Man. We were like, that probably right. Shows usually let out around the same time,
right?
So we came in, and the guy's like, "Can I help you?" And he's sitting there, and I'm like, "I'm going to the box office." You know, like, I was like, I'm going to the box office. Like, what do you mean, can I help you? You're just sitting here in the chair. Like, what are you talking about? So I was like, I'm going to the box office. People were like, okay, go ahead. And so there was a person in front of us. So we're standing in the lobby waiting. And I look up, you know, there's the monitors. And there's, you know, singing going on. And it took me so long to realize that the sound wasn't coming from the TV, but from through the doors because the show is going on. And he's watching the show because he has to monitor when he can open and close the doors because the show is still going on. It took me I thought it was promo. I was like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, Shakina's on stage and she's singing. Yeah. I was like, that's nice. It took me so long to realize that the show was still going on.
Yeah, but we found out that the matinee had a lot of technical issues, and it stalled for like 45 minutes, and so that's why it was still going on when we got out of the Music Man.
Yeah, so luckily they fixed it before our show.
Right, we got the moving set pieces and all that, and the set was like.
Very, like you said, do these scaffolding sort of set.
Right. There's like the saloon.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it, right? It just kind of rotates, and then it's door, like the upstairs and
yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't dislike the show. We didn't.
It had some great dancing though.
Yeah, Bill T. Jones' choreography was given very much. Fela. I don't know. People say that they didn't really care for the choreography, and like, but that's just his style.
Excuse me.
Like, no one's ever like, oh, we don't like Fosse. It's to, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just his style. No one's ever like, oh, we don't like. What's the guy who did Hamilton? It's so very like specific.
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah, I forget his name. Andy Blankenbleeder.
Right.
You know, he has a very like specific style choreo, very specific. Bill T. Jones choreo is very Bill T. Jones. very much obviously inspired by like Alvin Ailey, like
Right.
moving your full body, very like.
And also, I think what people didn't really like, I guess, is because it was meant to contrast. So there's like a large Irish community, and then there's also like a large like Black community, and obviously those two styles of dancing are gonna contrast.
The guy who
right?
plays the nephew did Irish step dancing.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah,
that his like
he's
training.
He's very low to the dance.
Yes, his arms are always like when he does it, and they're like two specifically like tap dancing guys, and they're not like Irish. They're tappers, not necessarily Irish step dancers. Yeah, they're like they were also very good though.
Yeah, and there's the two ladies in ensemble that wear the soft toe like Irish like shoes, and then everyone else kind of put on tap shoes every once in a while a little bit. Some of them had tap shoes on.
And there was a lot of like kind of like stepping like movements, like when it came to like the Black people like dancing, which makes sense. A lot of Black people dance with their, with their hands and their feet and whatnot. It was
it worked in the grand scheme of how they were dancing. What didn't work was I would say with the stepping in the Bronx Tale. That made no sense to me.
The stepping in the Bronx.
You remember in the Bronx Tale?
Yes.
That made no sense to me. Like when they hit the Black folks and they're stepping. Like no. That didn't work for me. But it worked in the case of Paradise Square. The costumes are great. Period costumes. It worked very well. But we like the show. I've been thinking about it, and I haven't been like, when I think about it.
No, I'm actually like, I kind of want to go back.
Yeah, like I kind of like to see it when they
lock it in.
When they lock it in, which I hope it does, because it seems to be like people are on the fence about it because of the producer I've been reading a lot, and just people in general not really giving it a chance. Like, not everything is going to be Hamilton. Sorry, people. Like, people are like, oh, it's a time period piece that has Black people in it, automatically trying to be like Hamilton. There's a song about letting it burn. Oh, it's trying to be like Hamilton.
It's not.
It's really not. It's
like
it's more of a traditional type of musical, to be honest, in terms of style of music.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself. I was, because to be honest, we grew up in New York City, and this is not anything they teach you.
Yeah.
Like, you would never know.
Yeah, we never learned anything about New York.
No, I'm like, what? Black people and Irish people live together on the Lower East Side? What?
And then when they said, I was like, I could believe it, actually.
Yeah,
but also, like, yeah.
It makes sense, actually. It's why so many of us have Irish surnames. That would make sense why. It couldn't all be because of plantations. So, it makes sense.
Because believe it or not, now all Black people have slave ancestry.
Yeah. So, I enjoyed the show. The lighting was nice too, actually. The show seemed dark, but it was lit at the same time. It's very interesting.
I really like the ending when everyone just kept showing up at the saloon, and I'm like, yes, because like this is where everybody like like the heart. Yeah. Also, it has a curtain is down at the beginning of the show, and it had like a big map of the Lower East Side. So that was nice to see. And then it kind of fades away before the show starts. In Paradise Square, let's show the merch. So we got a magnet. Magnet. Look at these shirts.
Okay, like look at the color.
Oh my God, it's orange. It's not black. It's not gray. It's not blue.
Gorgeous. This is giving me and Carole King the way beautiful. But I like that. But also
this is a large. What is going on?
That's a really big large.
They said it's not. He said something. Oh, it's not fully cotton. That's why. Wash inside out. Okay, great.
We did not get a window card because I don't know.
I didn't think they had any.
We were so tired. we had been up so early to get there for the Music Man.
Look, when Joy and I got our butts back home, I looked at the time and I was like, I've been awake for 20 hours. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, because Trish and I, we go to bed late. We're like, we'll go to bed at 1 o'clock and wake up at 6, or 5.
Or 2.
Yeah, 2
right.
and 6, things like that. We do stuff like that. That's just how we operate.
Yeah.
But it really hit me that we are not that young anymore. Standing in that rush line and everything. Like, I was tired. And I could have sworn I saw that there was a window card. Why I did not go in a window card? Because we always get a window card.
I didn't see a window card, so that's why I wasn't like...
my mama said, remember I said, I was like, I think I saw that there was a window card. And you were like, okay. And I was like, no, but I don't remember seeing it, like, up with the merch either. So I don't know. I don't know what was wrong.
Hey, if we go back, if anything, it's to get a window card, because this will not stand. I like it, because I like the color.
Yeah, it's real. And I'm afeared that the show might not open, and if it does open, it won't be open for long. So I want to try to go back to see it before that happens.
Maybe we could rush it again this weekend or something. Would anyone like to go with us?
Yeah, but it was a great 2-show day between the Music Man and Paradise Square. It's nice to see something new that I never heard anything of about. I'm like, oh. And I remember initially I was like, seeing Paradise Square, I remember being like,
remember I was like, Joy, remember I was like talking about it, you were just like not interested. You were like, okay, Cherish.
I was like, okay, like, I didn't really, the name itself didn't really do anything for me, but now that I see it, I'm like, oh, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. And it's nice to see that the people who work there really enjoy the show too. They were like, you're gonna have a good time. I like really appreciate that.
Is that what we got?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This and that?
Right, yeah,
we get one of those. You see me? Is that all we got? We like our merch.
Yeah. But yeah, please support new musicals. Go see Paradise Square.
Bye.
Bye.